I'm Zoe Delahunty-Light, and I've been hands-on with the Shadows of Rose DLC for Resident Evil Village, which means I've got Rose's hands on Mold and Mold on Rose, as the death animations are... yeah, not too pleasant. My time with the game was set partway into the DLC when Rose finds herself in what looks like Castle Dimitrescu, where Rose is seeking a certain something that'll help her rid herself of her powers. Now, I'm not being coy on purpose, promise, as I really can't talk about everything I'd like to due to the embargo restrictions in place, but there's still plenty I can reveal. I've played the DLC and these are the major things you need to know, including what Rose's powers actually are and whether there's any sign of our favourite tall vampire lady, Lady Dimitrescu. Rose's powers were at the very end of the demo I got to play, and they're not nearly as mouldy as you would expect. Instead of a black mutamycete gestating from her hands or skin like Miranda in the final boss battle of Village, Rose's powers connect intimately to the mould around her in this space of sorts that she finds herself in. Her powers first take the form of destroying the bulbs of mutamycete sclerotia blocking her path. Sclera is the white bit of your eye, by the way, and eyes are a central focus of the DLC, judging by what I've seen. Focusing on these mold cores destroys the network of mold attached to them, calcifying and crumbling like the defeated bosses in Village, opening up areas previously very aggressively not available to Rose. I'll get onto why that mold is so aggressive in the next section. Rose's powers are also somewhat useful in combat. A vein, I really don't know what else to describe it as, appears in the bottom right hand corner when Rose's upgraded powers unlock, with 3 pustules on the vein to denote how many times Rose can freeze enemies. Taking grip of the mold inside the face eaters, Rose can stun/freeze them for a brief amount of time, giving you space to shoot or flee, the latter of which is definitely the better idea. The Duke is the one who's behind all those face eaters hunting you through the castle. He both looks and sounds different, with a warbling, distorted voice tormenting Rose and his other victims for some godforsaken reason. The Duke thirsts for a chase. Something else is at work behind the scenes though. I found a note between who I assume is the Duke and someone else, someone far more powerful. Listen to it for yourself. It is a grand honour that you would bestow upon me such an important task. I can report the liquid void you provided has some splendid properties. Its most obvious use is for my dogs on their hunt, aiding them as they pursue our quarry. It also does wonders for slowing down and corralling the rabbits. Some have even been foolish enough to stumble into it and been completely engulfed. With this, I am certain I will be able to fulfill your expectations and get you the results you so desire. Is that note written from the Duke to Miranda, perhaps? Maybe everything Rose is experiencing is memories of what happened long before the events of Village, before the 4 lords even arrived, judging by Lady D's marked absence from the castle. Let me know who you think that note could be written to in the comments, by the way, as I would love to hear your theories. Anyway, that 4-eyed mask the Duke is wearing is just part of a whole ocular-centric decor he's gone for. Eyes, inverted pentagram-like shapes, pincers, and a crab-like creature seen on doors all around the castle. So eyes are a big focus of the DLC, or this level at least. Come to think of it, that goes double, as those face eaters themselves also lack eyes. Speaking of, running is your best bet when it comes to the face eaters, as they're roughly as bullet spongy as the core grunts in Village. Similarly to the lichens, they take a fair amount of bullets before going down, especially stressful when you're faced with multiple of them, and you know that if they get too close to Rose, they're going to start making out with her in a truly horrific way. I played on standard difficulty and didn't find the face eaters too bad to deal with, but if you're expecting to kill every single one of them, then you're going to find poor Rose runs out of bullets very quickly. As I mentioned before, running is your best bet, as, unlike the wraiths stalking through the castle Dimitrescu in the main game, the face eaters rarely follow you through doors. which is strange. I got the impression that they weren't in a rush to kill me, lending an eerie feeling to my time with Shadows of Rose. I was never sure when I'd hear face eaters trying to bash down a door to get to me, or, equally, when they'd allow me to flee. Scattered around Castle Dimitrescu are notes and maps drawn by their previous victims, and every so often I'd turn a corner and stumble upon them devouring one of those unfortunate victims. Sometimes they notice you mid-gorge, allowing a few pot shots, and sometimes they don't. As well as face eaters, you will need to contend with the live mould writhing under Rose's feet. Step on it and it will swallow you up if you remain there for too long, like glossier, evil, quicksand. And when you're done with the mould and the face eaters, don't worry, there's still more to keep you on your toes and dangerously close to death, as something else is chasing you through the floors of Castle Dimitrescu. Far bigger than a face eater, but on that topic, I must remain hush-hush because of those embargo restrictions. Shadows of Rose's unnerving atmosphere is exacerbated by Rose herself, who is very on edge, as demonstrated by her rapid, uneven breathing. Yet, I can't help but think she'd be less stressed if she didn't run so damn slowly. I mean, a jog would be a better word, to be honest, as if I were her, I would be sprinting through Castle Dimitrescu. With all that in mind, it doesn't take long for Shadows of Rose to come across as way creepier than Village, with longer downtime between each burst of action. That downtime gave me space to explore Castle Dimitrescu in hunt of a certain exceedingly tall vampire lady, but I was left disappointed. There's no sign of Lady Dimitrescu or her daughters at all. In Lady D's bedroom, there's no hooks in the ceiling or a lever to elevate said hooks, although there is a new bare rug. There's a statue of some guy in the opening foyer instead of a portrait of Daniela, Bella and Cassandra, no secret passageway in the gown room, and, finally, no gargantuan Lady D portrait. Instead, just an empty frame exposing the room's hidden passageway. As Rose is inside the Mutomycete consciousness, all her surroundings are distorted, as it's something to do with the memories absorbed by the Black God rather than the real-life village itself. However, that doesn't mean there's no Lady D. These particular memories Rose finds herself in could be from before Miranda allowed Lady D to take ownership of the castle. I'm really not that sure. I'm still holding out hope that we'll see Lady D in some way. Michael is blunt, so of course I love them. They're just words on the wall in the part of the DLC I played, but a remarkable amount of feeling comes out through those words. They're clearly trying to help Rose, and although they get to the point mighty quickly, bordering on impatient, they're also empathetic and are doing all they can to keep Rose alive. Why not leave and rest, they tell Rose, clearly caring about her well-being, even pushing items aside for her or barring her way until she's in a fit state to continue. Therefore, Michael is far more than just a disembodied presence. They create a gun for Rose, for God's sake, and a portcullis to keep her safe in a room until her powers are ready, and give Rose healing fluid and ammo. By the way, Rose heals just like her pa Ethan, dousing her hand in the green fluid, which gave me a chuckle. Rose in turn talks to Michael in a way you can probably imagine, stubborn, confused, but grateful for any and all help they offer her. I've read theories that Michael is Ethan in some form or another, or perhaps that figure at the end of the Resident Evil Village epilogue, and Michael certainly is a reassuring enough presence to lend weight to that theory. And that's the major things you need to know about Resident Evil Village's DLC, Shadows of Rose. What's your thoughts on the game so far, and do you think we'll see Lady D or any of the other lords like Beneviento, Heisenberg or Moreau? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, thanks very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Eurogamer as we have a new video out every single day. Now, I'm going to go and draw some eyes because this DLC has reignited my obsession with them, so I'll see you next time, pun not intended.